Hey there, hi there, ho there, everybody. Rob here. It's a beautiful fall day, a little bit windy. That's okay. Saturday, November 16th, 2024. We're in front of Trummers on Main here in historic Clifton, Virginia. One of the few stops we're going to be making today. I'm here with my dog Cookie, and she's happy to be out of the house. It's a cute little town here in Northern Virginia, about 20 minutes from my house. A number of nice restaurants, little shops, and just a nice place to walk around and look at some historic houses. As you go around town, many of the houses have signs up front with a description of how the house was built, who used to live there, and things like that. So Trummers on Main is a lovely restaurant we've eaten at a couple of times. And then over behind me on the other side is the local Masonic Lodge. And then I'm going to keep turning around. That goes up toward the center of town, toward Main Street, where the train station is. Or the train station used to be. There is a train car there now, a caboose as it were. This is a shop directly across from Trummers called Bell Jar Design. Looks like it opens up today at 11 a.m. Got some beautiful fall decorations out here. And this was known as the Pink House, built in 1905 by the Amber family, who maintained a farm outside of town where they grew various crops. In the 1960s, a business located here painted the building pink, and it has been known by locals ever since as the Pink House, even though right now it is clearly yellow. Back behind that shop is a barn owned by the Clifton Betterment Association, built in 1932 to house machinery for processing gold from local quartz found near Union Mills. Town resident Mert McCain designed the machinery, which could be heard chugging away only during occasional visits by investors from New York. The swindle worked for several years. The plant was likely powered by the 1899 Frick Eclipse steam traction engine. There's a little road here, goes behind the shop, and you can come upon the barn that was just described. They have events back here sometimes. Looks like they're getting ready to do some things today. Let's go over and take a look at what's here across the field. This is right outside the barn. It says it's an Eclipse portable steam engine, circa 1898. Like some birds might be living in there. This is a pretty busy road here in Clifton, and there is one good way, better than the other way, to cross the railroad tracks, and it's obviously the one where they have this asphalt sidewalk built over the tracks. So we're coming up on the Main Street Pub and Restaurant here on the right side of the road. I'm smelling paint, so I'm gathering this was freshly painted. Boy, it looks nice. November specials, live music going on. That's pretty interesting. Here's the front of the building. ATM, that's convenient. Just on the other side of it is the Clifton Cafe, currently painted in a purple and yellow color scheme. Coffee and crepes, food and drinks, here at 7144 Main Street in Clifton. This was the Weaver House, original structure built in 1898 as a residence for the Weavers, who owned the general store next door. Present structure built in the 1930s as a residence and later converted to a commercial establishment. That's happened with a number of buildings here in Clifton where they started out as a residence and became a commercial building. This is one of our favorite places, Peterson's Ice Cream Depot. Family food and fun. Delicious ice cream. Closed until March 2025. We're not getting any ice cream here today, Cookie, or French fries or anything else that you might like. Caramel, the cow, is outside. Right next to it, there's a lovely orange house and a church. And now we're across the street from Chapel Road. That's the main road that comes into Clifton from 123, and there's a lot of good parking up ahead on the left. Little park here, little Italian restaurant with good food. And this is the Quigg House from 1874. Considered the finest with its mansard roof and open 3-story staircase. We're now across the street on the side of the road where the church is so that we could get a better view at a few other houses. This yellow and blue one was a shop years ago, but it looks like it's a residence once again. Some of these are also rented out for special events. Beautiful stone house here at 7155. House built in 1830. One of the two oldest houses in Clifton in its original detail, and contains a sick room with its outside entrance that was so common during the period. Running through the leaves in the fall is a favorite pastime of man and dog. This is the Kidwell House, built in 1890. This is the Kinchole House from 1900, one of the more interesting signs to read here in Clifton. Huckster George Kinchole worked the area until the end of Prohibition. His wife, Aunt Inez, then opened the house to boarders. 5-cent buckets of beer were delivered every Friday night to the thirsty school teachers residing here. Later, the left front parlor was an unlicensed watering hole for discreet customers. Very interesting. These signs are really fun to read around town. Most of the houses here on Main Street have them. And now we're coming up on this beautiful stone house. It's a unique one here in Clifton. Looks like they put up a beautiful fence recently. Coming back to that yellow and blue house that we saw earlier. Yes, this used to be a place you could stay. This was a bed and breakfast. Looks like it's not open at this time for that purpose. And there is a sign up front, circa 1884. This building was built as a general mercantile store, and through the years has been occupied as a saloon, bakery, grocery, pool hall, cabinet shop, and church. The addition was added in 1926 for a barbershop. The building was completely restored back in 1965. Beautiful windmill there. A couple of nice turtles there. Fire engine going by in the distance. This is the Payne House from 1884, home of Melvin Payne, house builder and lumber broker to the railroads. Payne's benchmark, a split tree and cross, can be found branded on the framing of many of the older Clifton area homes. It is also carved into the parlor mantle. Very interesting. They have some nice decorations out. Happy harvest. And we're back here on the corner of Chapel Road and Main Street. If you come into Clifton, there's some excellent parking right down this road. Right now I'm going to turn off the camera so that I can cross the street safely. Now we're back at this little park here at the corner of Chapel Road and Main Street with a flag flying proudly. So this is called Little Bellagio Pizzeria and Mercado, pizza, deli, and more. And this is a tree that they decorate at Christmas time. And now we're walking away from Main Street down toward the fire station. There's a parking lot here right behind that restaurant that you can park at if you come into town for a few minutes. Some nice houses across the street. The Detweiler house from 1900. Samuel lived in this house in 1905 when he was the town liveryman. With the demise of the horse and buggy, he and his son Frank began a dairy farm. The last time I was here in town, I remember that being an antique shop. So again, a number of these homes were homes or businesses at various points in their lifetimes. Here at the Woodyard House, 1899, built by Wallace Woodyard, who was one of Clifton's great lumber merchants. Contains the best in material and workmanship, completely restored in 1969. Coming up on one of the beautiful buildings, the Animal Clinic of Clifton, Dr. Bostrom. Perhaps Dr. Bostrom's place is in the rear. I'm not certain, but I'm going to keep on trucking. In 1884, the front portion of this building first served as an out kitchen for the Payne House. Around 1918, it was moved across Chapel Street, where it served as home for the train agent. In 1935, the first floor became Tom Fairfax's barbershop until the mid-60s. In 1972, it was moved to the present site, restored and enlarged for use as an antique shop. Looks like it's a private residence at this time. Some people out doing some yard work today across the street. Temperature's warming up here and the wind is coming down a little bit. Before we get back in the car, I'm going to look at a couple more things. On this side of the street, this is where we park. This is the large parking lot in downtown Clifton if you're coming down to visit the post office or some of these businesses down in this area. This is the largest area where businesses are located, called Clifton House here on Chapel Road. So you've got the post office, you've got the Virginia Mercantile, and there's a little coffee shop down the way across the street from the firehouse. Here are some of the businesses currently located here. Oh, French pastry and cuisine, Pilates, remodeling, wealth management, hair garage, etc. I'm going to get Cookie a couple of dog biscuits, and we're going to get in the car and head on to our next stop. I'm here in Silver Lake Regional Park in Haymarket, Virginia, just a few miles away from the Manassas National Battlefield Park. And if things had been differently back in the 90s, I would now be sitting inside of the Disney's America theme park. Well, back in 1993, Disney secretly purchased over the previous year a big piece of land in Haymarket to build the Disney's America theme park. In 1993, they announced it with very vocal and passionate opposition. Within a year, they canceled the project. Some of the opposition was from people who didn't want to see this area, quote, developed and take away, the rural nature of the area so close to the Manassas Battlefield Park. Well, if you're in the area today, yes, you can come to this park here. There's a Boy Scout campground. There is some undeveloped land, but a large part of the land is now developed into housing developments and large swaths of commercial businesses, including Walmart. So the logic that they didn't want to see commercial development didn't really play out over the years. A number of people also opposed it because they didn't want the development that came with the Disney theme park outside of the gates, like happened in Florida. And certainly some people in the nearby areas were concerned about the different types of people coming into the area, tourists and other people that would possibly affect their way of life. I guess that's one way to look at it. But it was never built. And in 1993, when they announced it, that was just a short time after Euro Disney opened to disappointing results over in Paris. And that's now known as Disneyland Paris. And then also, not long after the project was announced, Frank Wells, the president of the Walt Disney Company, who had been in a close partnership with Michael Eisner, the CEO of the Walt Disney Company, died in a helicopter crash. So it was not a good year for Disney. They eventually took some of the ideas that they were going to put into Disney's America and put them into other theme parks, including the Soarin' attraction, which is now in 3 Disney theme parks around the world. Disney later on wanted to purchase the Knott's Berry Farm out in California and turn that into a Disney attraction, but the owners refused to sell to Disney. And then Disney also had plans to build a hotel in National Harbor in Maryland across from Washington, D.C., but that also did not come to fruition. We're here at Cookie's Happy Place, Occoquan Regional Park. Just had a quick lunch at the Brickmakers Cafe. Still a beautiful day here in November. Just across the river is the town of Occoquan. While I was at the park, I just stopped over to visit our trailer. This is our Trail X trailer. I'm going to walk forward a little bit. You'll see Cookie come into the picture. This is our Trail X trailer in storage here at Occoquan Regional Park. And in the near future, we're going to be bringing this back to our house and attaching our teardrop camper to the trailer. It's currently being built in a shed in my backyard. So the trailer's here, waiting for the camper. And with that, I'll sign off for today's journey with Cookie. She looks a little tired. Maybe she'll eat when we get home. Have a great day.